Alright, so let's talk about this idea of the root and the crown and how this relates to money and life and energy, etc. So we have this little picture here. Essentially a big water basin, and then a smaller one in the middle and a small one at the top. We have the rain here, and then we have this fountain of this flow of water that's just coming out from, I don't know, it's coming out from a portal. Let's just say a portal in the wall. And it's flowing down. You see, when it overfills, if it overfills, it'd probably go out the top there like that and into the next one. But just imagine there's like maybe a hole through here, and it's, you know, filling up the basin. But what's kind of more happening is that it's just going straight down to the bottom. So it's going straight down to the bottom whenever you fill, you know, from the top. Now this is the crown. The crown, the part of the head here. We have a head. I'll draw a little bit better. It's nose. That's mouth. Kind of goes like that. You got the ear. So you got the ear. Now the ear is hearing. So that's, you know, hearing. The eyes is sight. This is taking in and somewhat, I mean, you got a mouth to, you know, exhume sound, so you've got that. The nose and the mouth is breath, and the middle, kind of like the middle of the brain, is imagination, image, whatever. And the top of the head is more kind of like the whole top area is put words like they use words like the supreme ultimate, the Tao, the, you know, all these kind of cosmic things, super intelligent or super, you know, consciousness, but really it's kind of like relaxation in a very simple way. Relaxation, okay. So we've got all these excuse me, faculties of the head, and the relaxation, or this, it's like pure energy, pure cosmic etheric spatial energy, right? And if you focus on this point, you will relax, and it'll allow your body to relax, and it'll allow you to overcome traumas, because traumas are kind of like, well, some of them at least, the what you would think the negative traumas, because you can have positive and negative traumas. Negative traumas are like tension points within the body, you know, tension lines, or usually points, but, you know, areas that are tense. Maybe you got one there or whatever, and through using this chakra or center, you can access relaxation. And when you are starting to have a flashback and go into a traumatic moment, you can relax yourself more. Now, of course, depending on the trauma, it will depend on how difficult it is, and it's not going to be perfect, but being able to, just say if you've got someone who's afraid of leaving the house, being able to walk towards the front door is better than not, you know, little steps, I guess, little steps. So eventually, you know, they're able to leave the house and do whatever they want, just through daily training of that. Now the opposite is the root, which pretty much is your asshole. You know, technically, you know, tailbone, you've got a acupoint under the tailbone, your asshole's there, and you have another acupoint in front where the perineum is, and then the genital region is there for both male and female. So it's kind of like this whole base area, but I guess you could just, you know, focus. The more point is your asshole. Well, this is like the Baihui. If you look up Baihui, Baihui, I think it's called, which is a point on the top of the head, or you can just focus in the middle of the head. You can also focus in the lower bowel area as well, that I mean, focus on the whole region if you want. But just kind of play around with those areas. Now what this is the materialization center. It is the densification center. This is a spiritual center, the indigo, or the not indigo, the violet rainbow crystal center. You know, all that like fancy new age stuff, all about like the indigo and not the indigo, the violet and the crystal and all that crap. Crystal meaning like quartz, is in like a diamond, or like a kind of something that reflects rainbows, or that looks rainbowy and also looks clear at the same time. I don't just mean like actual crystals. I mean that's kind of that kind of rainbowy thing. And this is the black center. It's more like an onyx. It's more like stone, obsidian, or dirt and all that. Obviously, since you know it holds waste, it holds shit. And assumingly it absorbs, you know, parts of that. I think like B12 or something is made through this. So I don't know. I don't know the science. You know, I'm not gonna pretend. But there's some. You can feel it. You know, if you focus on this area, it will densify you. It will. The same way if you go into a cave, it will densify you. It's the same way if you go up to a really high building, you will feel, again, that's an external representation of the crown. You're at that high building, you can see everything. Or just say, you know, assuming the earth isn't flat, you went up into space, and on like a spaceship, you would be totally alone besides the internet. So you could virtualize everything, which is going down to the lower center. That's the internet's kind of, technically it's the throat. That's more like telephone and pure text. And then visual internet, maybe like, you know, when the 90s happened, 90s 2000s, is more like up here. And we're going more towards a higher level of, you know, VR experiences and all that kind of crap. That's for another video. Yeah, so if you're like alone on a spaceship at the highest point, you know, no gravity, that's what you'd literally be in an enlightened state, so to speak, in like a super high state. Well, if you're in like the bottom of a cave or a jail or something that's super rigid and routined, yeah, this is really when you get super rigid and routine, and everything must count, everything must matter, everything must, you know, this or that, all that stuff. So really what happens is that from the top it goes down, and from the bottom it supports up. Now I'll try to explain. So this goes down, it energetically, the relaxation, the relaxation energy opens up things, and it feeds it. It's pure spiritual energy. You know, just feel that center and feel what that energy feels like, and it flows down with it. Okay, and the lower center builds the body up. It physically forms and manifests, and allows you to, you know, if you have a weak lower center, you can't work very much. You can't do much work. You can't do much physical work. You'll get really stressed and strained super easy. Well, if you have a weak upper center, you won't be very creative. You'll be kind of rigid. You won't be able to learn new things. You'll be stuck in your old ways. And you won't have much energy, you know. This is more stimulants. This is more like depressants, you know, painkillers and all that. So how does this relate to money? Okay. So new money is like here, you know, money, income, let's just say income / cash flow. When you get cash flow, it comes in and usually goes straight down. And this is like necessities. Necessities. This is more luxuries, let's say. Luxury. This is more in the middle. It's things that you should be buying, you should be getting, but just say if you needed food, you're going to buy food over these things. You know, maybe a new towel or a new I don't know, some new thing that is kind of like a new shirt. Maybe your old shirt's a bit ragged or something, falling apart. Though some people would argue, assuming that you don't have clothes, then clothes would be a necessity, because you get pretty cold without them. Right, so cash flow basically goes straight down. Well, energy also goes straight down, and it's difficult to have. Up here could be kind of, actually, it's more kind of in the middle. That'd be like stocks and or just say investments. Invest, yeah. Right. Investing. Now, there are lower level investments like property, maybe business investments, investing into like food, like farming and all that. But to some extent, investing is more of a luxury, semi-luxury thing to do. Because if you don't, you have to, if you have a rent or a mortgage, that's pretty much down here. If you have food, that's down here. If you have petrol and whatever kind of like car fees or whatever's down here, bills are down here. So all that stuff, bills, food, housing, which is it's pretty much a bill. All that stuff for survival is down there. You're not really going to invest in some like stocks if you need to, fulfill this thing. And the reason I didn't put it like up here is that it's also, I don't know, it can be here as well. Alright, so anyway, because it depends on the kind of person you are. Once I've fulfilled my necessities, then I do look into investing. That's a next level thing for me. I like to have, this could also be savings. You could even put savings down here as well. To some extent, I believe heavily in investments and savings. I think it's very important to do that, just because life is very rocky, and living day to day and hand to mouth is not a good thing. So be a bit frugal, I think. I don't know, just play around with this idea with yourself. So basically you have to, in order to get more cash flow, which is this portal up here that's just leaking down into here, in order to get more cash flow, you kind of have to invest somewhat into luxury, but also you need to build up a strong foundation, and then you need to push back up. You need to push upwards, so to speak. Because just say if you're, what are the things that you making money relies on? What do you need to do to make money? Do you need a good car? Do you need a good computer? Do you need good tools? Do you need good education? Think about that. You could put education kind of in the middle. It's to some extent it is a luxury, but it's also a kind of like training and education. Now this is going beyond money. This is also going into energy, because we also have this is also like basic health and sleep. We sleep a lot, and if you don't sleep, you don't heal very well. Rest, relaxation, focusing on the body and all that. And then once you've got a healthier body, you do a little bit of exercise, you do some study or something, you invest in yourself. And then the luxury stuff is more like in I can't give you an example. Can't really think of many, but things maybe like esoteric martial arts. That's one example. Something that realistically, if you get into like a fight or a kerfuffle, your esoteric martial arts aren't going to help you as much as having a strong body or a healthy body, or just knowing some basic martial arts. But they're nice. They're the tip of the edge. They're nice to know some I don't know, some hard style martial arts or some Fajin or something like that. It's just a nice little extra thing to know, but you're not really going to focus on it first. So whatever, apply that to your own life. Whatever like things that maybe you want to do, but you really kind of don't really have the time, because this can also be time. This is time. This is money. So time, money, energy, all kinds of like currency flows, right? So time is a river of which flows out into us, and we just continuously get energy from time, right? We just continuously get energy, and the more energy you get, more energy, the stronger your root is. That's why you want to invest into the root, because then you get more money. And it's like one of those like strategy games where you just spend lots of time building up lots of like energy factories and mines or whatever. Like if you played Warcraft 3 or like the Warhammer one, or you know, whatever those games are, you basically at a certain point, to get more resources, you invest into developing resources, which is basically what this is. You open this point and this point to basically get more energy, to build up the body more, so you can get more energy, so you can build up the body more, and then you just have this, you know, you have more, you've kind of compensated for your necessities, and you've compensated for the flow, right? And then you can kind of focus more on like what you want to do, instead of just maybe working, or instead of just like investing. I guess you could say investing is kind of building up this to an extent. You know, you could put like investments and all that into there maybe, and you could also warrants like related to that. You know, if you invest into a house, because then you don't have to pay you know, a mortgage or rent once you've got that. Anyway, I think you get the main idea. You apply it to your own life. I hope you enjoyed listening and you got something from this. And of course, check the links in the description for social and commercial stuff if you're interested in that. And of course, have a nice day.